Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the August Love Story podcast. I'm your host, Tommy T. This is my beautiful wife, Artieka T, in the building. A-Town, what's up?
Hi.
Oh, okay. That's what you got.
Awkward.
This episode today, we are talking about alone time in a relationship because recently Mother's Day just passed and I couldn't find anything to give Artieka. I couldn't think of anything to give her for Mother's Day. So the one thing that she kept hollering about is not hollering, but just talking about is she doesn't have time for herself. So we figured we'll just talk about it today and, you know, get a clearer understanding of that. But before we get into the podcast, please, guys, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it. Leave a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are as well. We love to read and respond back to you guys and everything like that. So, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So
I feel like this is an interview.
It is. I'm definitely gonna interview you because like I explained earlier, Artieka has always been a person that valued being by herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that. And then with Lily, it's like she never gets an opportunity. But she described it in a way that made it very selfish of me. Not intentionally, but it made it selfish of me that I do get time to myself. Mm-hmm. I really don't remember what that
I don't remember either because I've said it a lot of different ways.
Right. And I was like, dog, she does make me look like a-hole.
I think a lot of it is because Lily's the only person in this entire world that's ever heard my heartbeat from the inside, right?
Yeah.
And so
that's a hell of a way to look at it.
Only person in this world as of now.
Yeah.
And when she was born, the first thing they did was laid her on my chest. Mm-hmm. And so there's something about her being drawn to me because of those actions. Yeah. Like, she's like, this is my mom. This is my safe place. This is my protection. And not to say that she doesn't think of you that way, but I also fed her from my body. Mm-hmm. Thank God it's over. For 17 months. And she just doesn't understand personal space.
Yeah.
And so I can't go to the bathroom without, like, she literally, guys, cries if I walk down the hall towards the bathroom and I close the door behind me. Like, it's a fit if I ever want to do anything alone. Even if I'm just sitting on the couch, she comes over to me. If Tommy and I are in the room doing the exact same thing, like we sit on the couch, we lay in the bed, we're sitting at the table, anything, I'm the person that she comes to first. And for you, if I go to the back and I go lay down and she comes and like decides she's going to come lay in the bed beside me, she don't care what you're doing. You can go out here and live your full life. But if I try to like lay in the back by myself, she comes in there and she will open the bedroom door and stare at me like she wants to fight me because I am choosing to be by myself for that day. And then she comes and she gets in the bed with me or she lays on the couch with me. So, many of you don't know, but I grew up, I'm not an only child, but I grew up like an only child. My only sibling that lived at home with me is over a decade older than me. So by the time I got to form my time of being able to be by myself, he was also out of the house. So it was just at that time, me and my mom, and then my uncle moved in. So it was me, my mom, and my uncle. You've been around my family. We go to our bedrooms. We close our doors. We have family time together. But after that, everybody goes to their bedroom and everybody closes their doors. And you and I had a sense of that where if I didn't want to deal with whatever you were doing, like if you were playing video games or studying for a test or whatever in the world that you're doing, I could just go to the back. I don't have to close the door because you're just not going to come back there and bother me. But she just doesn't understand that. And then we add on this new layer of pandemic, and it's just like I'm stretched thin.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for me and just looking at it from my lens, I'm like, but I don't get any time alone. Not saying that I need it, but I don't get any time alone either because, if we do the little test of seeing if we run away and seeing which way she'll go, she'll probably pick you. You know what I'm saying? If we're not doing anything, she'll probably go to you and want to crawl on you and stuff like that. But even in that sense, it's like it's nowhere for me to go.
Right.
It's nothing for me to do. And I'm not alone ever. You know what I'm saying? I have those times, but it's like and this is just from my eyes with it. It's like I'm looking at it from I'm up 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning to get that alone time. Because here it is. I got to be up in the morning to go to work. But for me to get any space, anytime that I want, I have to go an extra mile to get it. And I have to be comfortable with doing that because a lot of times I look at it as I want to make sure that you're cool because I know how I can control my coolness. Like I know how my attitude can go and I can control it. But you, on the other hand,
don't make me a ticking time bomb.
No, I ain't saying you're a ticking time bomb, but it's like it's more important for you to have alone time than it is for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think that's also a difference in the way that we grew up.
I think that it is a difference in how we grew up, but then I think it is also a difference in the type of person we are.
Oh, that too. Absolutely that too. But just like from the household that you grew up in, there were always a lot of people over.
Yeah.
No matter if they lived there or not, like that's a hangout. Like
right.
We're coming over and there's no question about it. Whereas my mom's house was never like that. We would go to my grandmother's house, which was the hangout.
It wasn't until I joined the family of your mom.
Well, it's double.
Yeah.
It's joining the family, but then also me not living in the state anymore.
Yeah.
So when I come home, it is an event that I am at home, especially because when I come home, I don't come home. So when I come, I'm staying for a few days. So everybody feels like, okay, we're going to all gravitate over there on this day at this time. And we're going to all like be here together. And even then I'd be like, can y'all go home?
Yeah.
But no, definitely the familial aspect of it, or the way that we grew up aspect of it, because like I said, it's my mom's house just didn't have a lot of people over there.
So my question to you is, what does the alone time actually do for you versus I understand like why you want it. You know what I'm saying? I understand like, hey, it's always constantly somebody picking, touching, being around you and in your space. I understand that. But what does it do for you? I guess I want to say, what does it do for you mentally?
It's like a recharge. Like you get to actually like think things through clearly, even if they are for other people, because half the time I'm still thinking about other people, meaning the two of y'all. But it's like being able to sit back and not have to like constantly be on go. Like, what is Lily picking up? What's in Lily's mouth? What are we doing here? What are we doing there? Like, it's like I can just sit down and do a mindless activity, because like for a lot of you guys, you may or may not know, like we watch and review TV shows. And when I say that the hardest part of my week is trying to watch her and watch a TV show at the same time, even though he's in the room, she's still like, Mom, I need to talk to you, like right here in my face, yelling, talking, making noise, kissing, like everything while you're trying to do something else. And it's just like she needs undivided attention. So I can give one thing my undivided attention instead of dividing my attention and missing things, forgetting things, just being able to actually like focus on one task at hand. Like I feel like with the exception of when I'm at work, I'm always in a mind juggle.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just don't want to think about anything.
and see, I think that's the thing for me. It's like, I don't want to say, but I'm doing it too. Because it'll cause an argument.
Oh, absolutely.
That's one thing. But then the other thing, it's like, I look at that being a tit for tat thing, and it's unnecessary in our relationship. I feel like
it's kind of like, for example, hair, right?
Yeah.
You wash your hair in the shower. I don't, right? So you need less time to wash your hair. But that's not to say that you're going to tell me that I need less time to wash and do my hair because yours requires less attention. Right. You just require less attention to or not attention, but less time alone to dedicate to just yourself than I do because I require more time to do my hair. but
see, the thing that I look at is when you're saying I need the alone time. Well, if you get alone time, that means she's with me. Because where else is she gonna go? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at first I looked at it as being an unfair ask because you're wanting me to do more and I've already have a heavy plate. And that's the way I'm looking at it from my eyes. But then, I've started this thing about it, and I think we talked about it before, was this listening and hearing thing.
Listening to understand versus listening to respond.
Right. And so it's like I need alone time. What is she asking me for? And how do I give it? Like it's like during Mother's Day really had me scratching my head on what to give you, because you're not a person that say, "Oh, I like that. I would like to have that." You're a person of, I just want to be alone. All right. Well,
gifts aren't necessarily a thing that I want. Most of the time when I want a tangible thing, it's something that I can't immediately afford to buy myself.
Nah, I feel you.
So it's just like, I don't have an ask because I don't want people to go and buy me something that I didn't ask for because they've decided that
that's
they
what you
think
needed.
I need that, or they think I want that. So it's like, for me, the value is in being able to decide things for myself rather than have things, because I can go buy things. And they'll be the things that I want because I picked them out. Like, you've seen how I obsess over things that I want, and then I go get it and I'm fine. But it's just like, I didn't want you to go buy it for me because I needed to do a little bit more research. Make sure that this is the exact one that I want. There's not one that's better, that's $10 more or $10 less. So it's just like, I like to just go out and do those things by myself. For myself, I should say, not by myself.
But it's so funny when you said that about the alone time and everything. And then Mother's Day was a big thing for me. It was just because it's like, I really was pulling blanks. It's like I couldn't think of anything. And it's so hard to give you alone time, especially in this climate that we're in with COVID and everything like that. It's like, I necessarily didn't know what it looks like, other than, hey, well, go do what you want to do. Because the thing that I struggled with was, okay, I want to give her some space, So my plan was, I was like, well, me and Lily can go somewhere, right? Just go to the park or something and do that. But then I was like, that's probably going to be 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that even enough time for her to feel, by herself and alone and stuff like that? And I was like, well, maybe she can leave the house, but I don't want to be like, you got to leave to get your own space and your own time. You know what I'm saying? But then, if I would have left, you'd have been stuck at the house, seeing that my car is currently not working. But which
is another story for another day.
Right, it is. But you know,
Lord,
it's funny with me and cars. Anyway, shout out to Angelo, man. Angelo has the biggest jokes about my cars, man. But anyway,
and you almost tore one of his.
Man.
That makes you sound real reckless.
It does, but I'm not reckless with cars at all. Period. But no, like it's like I just didn't want to control your time, you know, and I struggled with that, and I ended up controlling your time, and I felt extremely bad. Extremely bad, and then so you know, I don't know, man. It's just that time thing, man. Like wanting it, and the reason why it was important for me to make sure that you got the alone time was for my peace.
And I think that we should start implementing pockets of time as not like Mother's Day and birthday, but just like, hey, it's Saturday. Go.
Yeah.
Once we get...
If you told me that, I would be like, I don't got nowhere to go, man.
Yeah, and I wouldn't tell you that. I would just go. But like...
and take the baby?
Oh. No, I wouldn't take the baby. If it's my time,
what if it's my time, though?
You can go.
I don't have nowhere to go.
That's your problem. That is all your problem. But it's just like being able to... It's so difficult because a lot of people have the break of going to work. Well, I work from home. So there's always a child in the house. And then like when I do get off, I've set up my schedule so that I can be available and accessible to her during her awake hours. So I work when she's asleep. So with the exception of when you're home from work in the evenings, I do get a few hours in there as well. But it's just like I made myself accessible to her when she's awake. We don't have the option of daycare because I'm just not comfortable with that right now. And then our family that is here is engrossed with their own kids. I don't want to just drop off another one and be like, you got it.
Here you go. I'll be back later.
And I mean, I know we have younger cousins that would be more than willing and able to like watch her for a set amount of time, but I just don't want to do that. So it's just like, you go from, I spent 9 months of sick and pregnant. And then like, boom, not pregnant, not sick, but there is a little person that like just wants to be touching me. And it's like, even like at this age, sometimes she'll just sit on the couch and put her feet on me. And it's like, why are you touching me? You don't have a reason. You have no reason to touch me. So it's like going from that, and then you add in the layer of pandemic where you're uncomfortable going out to a lot of places. And then even more so now because we're loosening a lot of restrictions, but that my child is still at risk to get COVID. Even if you're vaccinated, you can still be carrying COVID around. So it's just like, you just don't want to deal with all of that. So it's like easiest thing to do is stay home. Well, if you stay home, I got to stay home. So it's just like, it's a vicious cycle. And I tell my mom all the time, I'm about to send your grandbaby to you. So I can have a week. And she's like, you'd miss her. I know, but I'd have a week.
No, man, I just think it's important when, you know, you say things, and it's important. The most important part is for me to hear it, listen, and, you know, digest it, and then figure out a way to grant that, because it's important to make sure that you have the things that you need, because if you don't, it's like build up, and then eventually something has to explode. You have to have some type of release. And so I get that part. So that was one of the things. I just didn't understand why.
We're going to have self-care Saturdays.
Right. Exactly, man. But yeah, so I think we kind of covered the long time thing, man. So do we have a listener letter for today?
We do. Please send your listener letters to ouraugustlovestory@gmail.com, and we just may read them aloud on the show. So I'm going to be editing this in my brain while I'm reading
All right,
it.
go for it.
Because there's some specific details that I want to take out of it. So this person says, I need some advice. My husband and I have decided to separate and live apart for a few months. He came over recently to spend some time with me. And we went for round 2. I think you understand what spend some time with me means. Yeah. His phone starts ringing around 3 a.m. He glanced over at it and then he kept going. His phone kept lighting up, and then I heard his text message notification go off. All of a sudden, he just stops. And I'm like, are you good or are you tired? He says yes to both. He ends up saying about 15 minutes later, I'm leaving. I have to go. Am I tripping, or was he going to see someone else? I'm trying to make excuses and say he was just tired, but I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
This is her boyfriend or
her husband?
Huh.
So they have separated.
Yeah.
He lives in one place. She lives in another with the kids. He's still
tapping that thing.
He still comes over for that purpose. And this time he was in the situation.
Yeah.
Somebody called. Then
in the midst.
Somebody called. Then they text. And then he was like, I gotta go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he probably was going to see something happened. You guys are separated. So, I mean, what like you can't.
I don't think there's a legal separation, though. I think that
like
this is
like if mentally they're like apart.
This is a trial run, I guess. We're gonna live in 2 different places, but we still married.
Yeah, I mean, like, I hate to say it like this, but I mean, like, if they're apart, he probably found somebody else. I don't like you looking at me like that. Make me nervous.
I'm going to say not my husband, okay?
No, not
I'm going to just say that because if we decided to separate, we still married.
That's it.
We still married until we divorced.
Yeah. But like, yeah, 9 times out of 10, there's somebody else on the other end that has called him and texted him and that needed him at that time. So,
at 3 o'clock in the morning, don't nobody need you but Jesus.
Right. So, what Nelly say, ain't nothing but legs open there.
Mm-hmm. And they not Jesus. Okay, so I will say this. I think before anyone goes into a trial run or whatever you call it of separation, you
gotta make the boundaries.
You have to establish rules.
Yeah.
So does that mean you can have a girlfriend, you can have a boyfriend? Does that mean that we're just going to live apart and see if our communication is improving or whatever the issue is? Because there has to be some type of issue that makes you want to separate. So you figure out and establish all of your boundaries. And something that Tommy and I actually recently had a conversation about, and this has nothing to do with marriage, but it's a legal document, right? And I'm sure he was saying I was being a negative Nancy, but I kept saying, well, what if the other party doesn't do their part? Yeah. And he was like, but they legally have to. And I'm like, contracts can be broken. What happens if we do this and they do this and then they decide to back out on this side? What happens? And we couldn't come up with an answer. So, well, we ended up finding an answer from like the person that put together the entire contract. But it's just like you have to sit down and worst case scenario the entire thing. Yeah. Like I would even go so far as what if he had a baby while we on this break? Yeah. Like whatever your worst case is, like figure that out. He decides he don't want to be with me. He gonna marry another woman. What's our outcome of all of this? Because you still have to co-parent with this person because they have kids. So you still have to co-parent with this person. So you have to figure out what are the boundaries that I'm going to set with you? And it seems that you guys did not establish any boundaries. Mm-hmm. So I guess at this point, and it's going to take, at least for me, it would take a lot of restraint to sit back and be able to have a conversation with you about what we're going to do moving forward.
Yeah.
But it would definitely be a conversation of let's sit down and have a conversation and talk about what this separation looks like at this point. Because if his phone rang at 3:00 in the morning and y'all were living together, it wouldn't be a I gotta go.
Yeah. No,
so it shouldn't be one.
That's a conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it should still be a conversation on this part as well. It shouldn't be an I have to go.
Right. Nah, I get you.
Because even if it was like, I hate to say it this way, but the only time Tommy's been woken up in the morning at 3:00 by a phone call has been bad news.
Yeah.
And with the bad news, he still like tells me the bad news,
right.
No matter if it's something that is going to impact me or not. It's always a conversation about the bad news. So if something happened and you're going to leave my house at 3:00 in the morning, why?
Right. For me, that's a natural instinct to ask, okay, what's wrong?
Right.
You know,
are you okay?
Are you
Is
good?
Everybody okay? Is your mama okay?
Right. Like, what's wrong? Because that's odd for people to call and text and call at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
You know,
even as a girlfriend, I wasn't calling and texting at 3:00 in the morning unless you were leaving my house. Yeah. And I wanted to make sure you got home.
That's it.
But outside of that, I can't remember, like in my past life, even like not you, but like other guys that I dated, I can't remember times that I was just calling people at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, to have a casual conversation.
Yeah, it's just literally like, you left my house. Are you okay? And when people have called me at 3:00 in the morning, something was not okay.
Right. Exactly.
Like, it's never been a matter of, you know, my sister just wanted to talk.
Nah.
Even when my sister calls me at, well, no, she didn't call me at 3:00 in the morning, but somebody went to jail the last time I talked to my siblings at 3:00 in the morning. But it was just like a matter of, hey, just wanted to let you know.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything I could do about it, but.
Right.
Yeah, I hope that you guys can come to some type of resolution, establish a boundary, and maybe it's not another woman. Maybe it's somebody in his family that you don't like, and I don't know. I don't have anything.
Yeah. Hopefully that helps.
Hope you get the resolution that you were looking for. Yep.
It's not really a question to that, man. It's just, you wasn't tripping.
No, you were not.
You were not tripping. So
you were not.
What's our quote for the episode?
So I was rapping this song before we recorded Ready to Love, which is funny, but it's a fellow Memphian.
Go for it.
He said, this for you groupies who knew me, or better yet, who done crossed me. I toss a coin to your life because ain't no hater gonna stop me. A quarter mile we done ran, but I can keep up on feet. We platinum bound on you clowns, but still we loved on these streets. I don't know why I can't get this out.
I don't either.
But that was a Play a Fly. Nobody needs nobody.
Play a Fly. All right, man. Well, that's it for the August Love Story podcast this week. It has been a while for us since we did this. So
about a month or so.
Yeah, about a month ago. But no, I appreciate you guys listening to another episode. If you haven't, like I said earlier, please go subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to like wherever you listen to podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Also, go ahead.
Plug Mother's Milk.
Go ahead.
No, you do it. I like it when you do it.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's not me.
Also,
but it's for me.
Also, when you guys get a chance, within the 3-Ounce Media family, we got so many other podcasts and other YouTube shows. Go check those out. We got Mother's Milk, which is Artieka and her cousin, Crystal. Shout out to those guys. Crystal. Woo! Mother's Milk is a show about motherhood and of course breastfeeding babies and just different tips and their journey as well. So when you get a shot, check them out. Also, we got Speaker Geekers podcast. Shout out to my bros, Greg and Steve. Did you like that with my homeboy Dre? Just check out the YouTube page, 3M Media Studios. Also, we do reviews on our YouTube page as well. So check those out. She really gonna threw me off with my ending. I usually have just a set go and she's like, you do it. Okay, whatever. I got it.
You're doing so great.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetie. But
that's awkward.
Right. Everything else, man, if you haven't already, please go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at August Love Story. What else? You can follow me on Instagram at I am Tommy T the third. And you got Artieka at Artieka. Simple. But that's it. You got anything?
Nope. Share this video with a friend.
Share the video. Share the podcast if you listen to the audio.
That's it.
That's it. So we out. Peace.
Bye.